In the previous episode of KSP1, we have sent these guys to the surface of Minmus, and in today's videos, we will be launching, building, and sending a rescue craft. Well, technically not a rescue, but I did send these guys over to an extended vacation, well, forever, because I was thinking that I was gonna play KSP2 forever. However, that's not the case at the moment. We'll see how it goes, but that means KSP1 is back, everybody, and I hope you'll like it, so let me know what you think. But without further ado, we're gonna be building the craft that will be returning my, channel members and patrons back from their extended vacation from the rover on the surface of Minmus, because I'm gonna need their services more. Well, speaking of them, a big thank you to them for supporting the channel, and they're just an awesome bunch, and I'm really privileged and happy to have them here, by the way. Now, let us get right into the meat of things. So, we are building the lander. The purpose of this lander is to go down to Minmus and return a grand total of 4 Kerbals back to the KSE. So I was actually gonna go with as simple design as possible, because main reason and the truth is where their life support is kind of, well, not running out, but if I want to take an interplanetary mission, well, they would basically run out of resources and suffocate and die. And that's not the best way to treat your audience, so I figured, yeah, I'm gonna go. I actually like the aesthetic of these of these landing legs, well, which are typically used by Falcon 9, so we're gonna go with that aesthetic. And also, I do want to address, I didn't mention anything with the returns of the Kerbal Space Program 2 situation, and its future, which is very much uncertain at this point. So, yeah, we're gonna be addressing that a little bit further in the video, so stick with me. The point of this craft is to actually be able to land, and I've gone with a very simple 2-meter design, nothing really out of the ordinary, and then later on we're going to be replacing the bottom part, or the transfer and ascent stage, to a 3.5 meter, because I felt it just makes more sense and keeps the design simple. Now, coming to the fate of the Kerbal 2, well, situation, today, which is 17th of May, an article on PC Gamer has popped up where a Take-Two CEO, Strauss Zelnick, told IGN that the company has not closed the Kerbal Space Program 2 developer Intercept Games or Oli Oli Maker Roll 7, despite the recent report that the studios have been shut down. "We didn't shutter these studios, to be clear," Zelnick told the site. "We are always looking at our release schedule across all of our studios to make sure it makes sense. So we are being very judicious, because we are in the middle of a cost reduction program that are already concluded and now fully rolling out. We've announced that we are saving 165 million in existing and future costs, but we haven't shuttered anything." First of all, I think by we, he thinks, Take-Two, and while technically, I mean, a lot of this jargon is mumbo jumbo and honestly doesn't say anything. Okay, we haven't shuttered anything. Okay, so who did? Sorry to be a little bit blunt here, but okay, Take-Two didn't do it. Okay, did the private division do it? Or we're continuing development down the label? What bothers me, guys, on this one is the unclear communication and the lack of the clear communication, these two. I understand the situation, understand that some things are not going as planned, and I hate the fact, of course, that the KSP2 is in the situation where it is at the moment, or where we think it is, because we don't know anything for a fact. But the thing that bothers me the most is the lack of clear communication between the companies. I'm sure that, and guys, please don't be mad on the devs, because I don't think they're allowed to say anything. They're probably been hit by like a triple firewall of NDAs, so there's probably a reason why we're not hearing anything from them. What I would have expected now, 2 weeks after the warn notice has been posted, is that by now somebody, the label, Take-Two, private division, Intercept, I don't care who, but one of them could have put up a press release telling to the community what's going on. Because this feels, you know, the fact that the Dakota has been, you know, let go, according to his own statement, means we have no community manager to talk to, and there is no official communication or good communication with the community, which is kind of a bad situation if you're talking about the game that has clearly been and released into the early access. So that means prolonged development, talking to your community and stuff. So I'm not blaming exactly Intercept Games or anybody else for that matter, but this should change. For the early access games that are not fully released, there has to be a clear line of communication, because to be honest, this feels like a big old middle finger to the rest of the community. Okay, enough with that stuff. I really hope that the situation will change, and I hope that we will get at least some clarity on what has been going on with the KSP2. Enough about that. Let us get back to our Valentina, who is judiciously and also diligently working to get this craft into the orbit to be able to come to Minmus and return our beloved Kerbals back from their prolonged vacation on the surface of Minmus. So, with that thing being said, Valentina is going onwards, and we have just gotten into the orbit circularization, where I do expect that we will be circularizing, and then we have a grand total of 3.4 thousand meters per second, which is actually plenty. It's more than enough to get us to Minmus, land on Minmus, pick up everybody, and come back home, and they don't even need to pee to save on the extra mass. Right. So, with that thing being said, we did do an orbital inclination change just to get us on the same plane as Minmus, and now we're gonna be doing the maneuver node. By the way, this video has been accelerated roughly 2 times for your benefit, so we keep it nice, concise, and the action happening. So Valentina is burning towards Minmus at the moment. This is our ejection burn, running off on Poodle engine, which is a pretty decent engine, to be honest. It's a very nice engine to do and a very efficient engine to do the interplanetary transfer, especially if you have the 2.5 meter rollout. And honestly, guys, I've actually enjoyed putting this episode together, because I've already forgotten how fun it is to play KSP1. It's gorgeous, it works well, and I mean, it's the best alternative that you have to get a KSP2. So, there we go. Bye-bye, Kerbin. Valentina is going, and we're gonna be rescuing our 4 brave Kerbals from the surface of Minmus. There we go, coming in. And actually, guys, when I've been doing design, I've been doing some testing, I've noticed that during the testing I have forgotten the life support. So I obviously had to run another simulation and then slap on a couple of items with tech life support. Yeah, I forgot how this game can get really hard for all the right reasons. So, right. There we go. We are making sure that we are getting into the nice orbit around the Minmus. So this is just the inclination burn to get us to a good place to perform the orbital insertion burn, which is going to be taking 30 meters per second, or, you know, 30, 40-ish, it doesn't matter. We have plenty of delta V, and also Minmus is incredibly easy, which makes it a perfect planet for the, you know, newcomers, starters, and all of these alike. We had to pay a lot of attention when designing not to forget the solar panels and all that jazz, because, well, that could complicate things a little bit. Right, so, with the burn done, we are on the good inclination. However, I don't like to land near my rover when it's in dark, so I'm gonna do a couple of laps orbits just to make sure that the rover is in the sunlight. See? There we go. So now we're gonna set it as target, and we're gonna fix our orbital inclination just to make sure that we overlap nicely over it, so we can fly directly above and then just drop this lander on top of the rover. Well, not literally, but sort of, kind of. Right. And you might be checking out my Kerbal alarm clock, and why do I have it running? Well, we did launch a couple of interplanetary missions. two actually Sarnus explorers, which will be getting there. First one will be getting at its correction point in 333 days. And the other one will be coming in 2 years and 370 days. Well, these are the missions almost like, you know, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. They take decades to complete. And we do get an Urlum incoming transfer window and the one Duna back to Kerbin. I don't know if we're gonna need that one, but it's still good to have. I've also noticed that from all the, you know, Kerbal planetary bodies that I've explored in the, you know, inner Kerbal system, I've never touched Gilly. So I'm actually building, and that will be probably coming in the next episode, a lander that will be going all the way to Gilly and performing some science. Whether or not it will be crewed, I don't know at the moment, but for the time being, I think I'm gonna go with a robotic one, just suck up all the science, and then we're gonna see what we're gonna see. So, having said that, we are doing a final corrections for a precision maneuver landing, just on top of this one, and we are, well, I think we're on the right trajectory. We're gonna be changing to the target velocity, you know, marker, and it's sort of done like docking with the additional difficulty of making sure that you land in the right place. So, as once again, same as it with docking, you have the target velocity and you have the target markers, both yellow and pink, and I'm trying just to align them while also killing off my target velocity, which has been increasing somewhat. So yeah, there we go. We're gonna be popping down the landing legs. You have to keep the target relative velocity, and you also have to be really careful that you land and use your shadow just to make that we land it nice and close. Easy does it, Tiger. Okay, careful, careful. 10 meters, and there we go. The Falcon 9 landing legs work perfectly. And look, we are really close to our rover. Okay, so that means once we switch over to the rover, we have our brave Kerbals. We have Jean-Philippe Kerbin, we have Radoslav Kerbin, Timo Kerbin, and I think the last one will be, yeah, honestly, I have to look it up. But I've tried to move it and I realized that my reaction wheels were popping a little bit too much energy, so it was kind of flipping, so I disabled the reaction wheels. Are you doing good, buddy? Oh, look at that sight. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it glorious? There we go. Coming close with Jean-Philippe, Radoslav, Timo, and I think the last one is... well, we'll see soon enough. So first, putting down the ladders. There we go. Timo Kerbin, let's go on the in EVA. Right. Jean-Philippe. Okay, oh, I pressed the spacebar one time too many. Okay, we're gonna use the thrusters. So, yeah, why the hell did I put the ladders then in? Good question. Radoslav Kerbin is gonna be coming over there, and he's hopping happily. Look at him go. Will you take a selfie? Obviously. Right. Oh, and a nice salute. Good. Grab the ladder and get in, please. The passenger module. Will you? Thank you. The next one is Timo Kerbin, obviously, and he's gonna be using the RCS thrusters because he likes to float around. There we go. And finally, the Boy Race Kerbin. He is also here, and we're just gonna be placing him in the command module because he will be assisting Valentina and Jean-Philippe, who are both pilots. Alright, with that thing being done, let us lift up from the surface of Minmus, pick up those landing legs, and let's go! So the idea is that we burn for a 25-kilometer apoapsis, and then we're going to be circularizing and returning back to Kerbin. Let's first unset the target. The rover will remain there for eternity because, well, I really don't feel like, you know, retrieving it back. Yeah. Anyway, time warp complete. There we go. And while we're doing that, we have 56 meters per second burn. That's going to be performed quite quickly. There we go. Beautiful. And that means we're gonna be doing another burn, which will take us all the way to Kerbin. So it's important to have a good Kerbin periapsis. I'm thinking around 35-ish. And after a brief burn, we have ended up with, let's see how much, just carefully burning there. Even the poodle engine has a lot of thrust to weight here, so yeah. Okay, 36 kilometers. I think that's perfect. Valentina is taking our Kerbals back home, and there we go. Now, I figured, just to orient a retrograde, we have 1300 meters per second. We're gonna use it to decelerate when we get into the atmosphere. And for your benefit, I have decided to put it on 12 times time acceleration, so this doesn't last for another 10 minutes. After all, the re-entry is a thing that we already done many times, and I have decoupled, and I'm using the heat shield now to decelerate, and everything is dandy. There we go. All of our Kerbals are landing in gently, so I mean, and it's also dark, so I figured just to have it nice and simple. There we go, and let us recover the craft and see how much science did we get. Alright. Alright, so we have gotten some science, and more important, we have gotten the ribbons. But thank you very much for watching, like if you liked the video, and I'll see you in the next one.